I would love to be immortal for two reasons. One is that it will allow me to engage in an interstellar trip that will take a long time. And second is that I'm very curious about lots of things, and I think that the knowledge we have is like an island in an ocean of ignorance. Most people are very proud of what we know, but I am really concerned about what we don't know. There is so much we don't know. We don't know what makes the dark matter in the universe, what makes the dark energy. We don't know what's inside a black hole. We don't know what existed before the Big Bang. We don't know how life emerged, how consciousness emerged in the human brain, what our future is like, what could be the most advanced technologies that anyone may have created before we came to exist elsewhere. There is so much for us to learn that I would like to live forever and figure it out. And if you have a negative mass, you can build a time machine.
How would you go back in time?
Because when you take a positive mass, like, the sun, the earth, a positive mass, you pass a light beam next to it. The light is delayed. Time is ticking more slowly near a positive mass. Now imagine replacing the positive mass with a negative mass. Instead of delaying the light, you will advance it. It will actually move faster. You go next to the negative mass and you come back to your source at an earlier time than you left your source.
So you'd go out and then back.
And you arrive before you left. And of course, it poses a problem because you can prevent yourself from making the trip. And so that there would be a logical inconsistency. Most physicists think that it's forbidden. If that's the case, there shouldn't be any negative masses. As we go deeper into the universe, we see light that was emitted at an earlier time because it had to make the journey to reach us by now. So we can see actually photographs of the universe when it was younger.
Wow.
I mean, when you look at a mirror, let's say a few feet away from you, it just takes a few nanoseconds for the light to cross that distance. So in principle, you are looking at an image that is younger than you are because the light bounced off your face, went to the mirror and back to your eyes some time ago.
So you're looking back in time.
Yeah, but if you put the mirror a light year away, then you would see yourself the way you looked 2 years ago because of the time it takes the light to go from your face to the mirror and back. And we can look all the way back to the beginning of the universe, so we can see how the universe looked like earlier. And there is even a whole branch of theoretical physics called string theory, claiming that perhaps we can unify quantum mechanics and gravity. The only problem is when you ask them to predict what happened before the Big Bang, they say it's too complicated. So I ask you, if you have a plumber coming to your home and you say, can you please fix the toilet for me? The plumber says it's too complicated. But he says, if you look at the metaverse, this thing that you watch when you put goggles on your head, if you go there I'm a very accomplished plumber. That's pretty much the sense that I get from speaking with string theorists because they talk about things that I cannot verify. But when I ask them to do a task that will resolve a puzzle in fundamental physics, they say it's too difficult. We live for less than 120 years, which is 1 part in 100 million of the age of the universe. We live for such a short time, and yet we engage in wars and conflicts that shorten this time that we are on this earth even more. Does that sound intelligent to you?
No.
So there are religions talking about Messiah coming to earth, bringing peace and understanding. My hope is that the Messiah will not necessarily come from this earth, that it would come from another star and would give us a better perspective about how to handle ourselves as the human species. Elon Musk motivates the idea that SpaceX should bring people to Mars because we might be the only conscious beings in the entire universe. I don't think so. He didn't really search for others. Scientific knowledge does not fall into our lap. It requires a lot of work. So Elon Musk said, well, I have all these communication satellites and none of them collided with an unidentified flying object, a UFO. Therefore, I haven't seen any evidence for aliens. That's not the right approach. I actually calculated this week that if you were to consider a meter-sized object, it will only collide with one of these 6,000 Starlink satellites in 1,000 years. This is not really a good measure. The intelligent thing to do is actually be curious and humble. Copernicus was a priest. He didn't want to rock the boat. He wanted to help the church. He realized the church is unable to figure out exactly when Easter is. They have a model where the earth is at the center and everything moves around the earth, and they get Easter wrong by a few days. So he said, well, let's think about it. If we look at all the data and we put the sun in the middle, it actually works quite well. We can figure out when Easter is quite accurately. So he gave the church this model where the sun was in the middle of the solar system, and they said, great, we will use your model, but we will ban your book. They didn't want to change the public perception, and they said, in reality, the earth is at the center, but this is a theoretical model that we will use to figure out Easter. The lesson from this is that sometimes it's important to rock the boat if the boat is going in the wrong direction. We are engaged in conflicts, wars here on earth. We are led by our politicians to conflicts because here on earth, everything is zero-sum game. Like there is a certain territory, one nation wants it, another nation wants it. There are 2 wars right now related to that. There is unlimited real estate beyond earth. There is no point in fighting over territory on this rock that we happen to be born on. If we find someone out there, that neighbor that we might find may serve as a better role model for us than our politicians, because it might inspire us to behave better. It might be more intelligent than we are. We will be left lonely in the distant future. Imagine again this balloon and imagine ants walking on the surface of the balloon. So the ants walk at some speed, but if we blow the balloon fast enough, then the separation between the ants will grow faster than they can traverse it. So in fact, they will never be able to communicate with each other if the balloon is expanding too fast. And the analogy is with the expansion of the universe. The ants are particles of light, photons. So they move at some speed, but if space itself is expanding fast enough, even light cannot bridge the gap that is being opened between us and the friend that is receding from us. We will be surrounded by our own Milky Way galaxy, and beyond that, there will be darkness, emptiness. There is a very lonely future for us